Hello, everyone, and good morning. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And I'm here to tell you that if you enjoy the show in any capacity at all, maybe I'm funny, maybe I have good guests, maybe, I don't know, sometimes I'm interesting, whatever. If there's anything that you like about this show, please hit that follow button, that subscribe button, wherever you're listening. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like the videos, you subscribe to the channel, you comment, and you share. I am tired of working menial jobs and would love to speed up the process of making some money on this goddamn thing. So please like, comment, subscribe, share, tell everyone about us wherever you listen to the show. Follow it. Makes a huge difference. Thank you guys. Enjoy the episode. Look at your Rolly. Look at my Rolly. That's a small face. It's a big face. Come to my concert and get fucking killed. Yeah. Travis Scott, Astroworld, baby. Isn't that nuts? Right? That's like, what a crazy name for a festival in the first place. Like, it sounds like it's going to be wild and, you know, it's going to be like crazy shit's going to, like, just in the name, right? Astroworld. People are probably going to be on drugs and, let me move a little closer here. Probably, people, you know, like, people are going to be doing wild shit, right? Running around and, you know, there's probably going to be some kind of a theme, like a outer space kind of theme, like we're out of this world, we're an astro world, you know? What the fuck is going on over there? 8 people dead, 300 injured? Holy fuck. People getting trampled? I mean, is it a concert if that doesn't happen? That's my question. Is it a concert if people aren't getting killed? Is it a festival if there aren't body bags readily available right next to the bars? Right? Shouldn't you be able to get a poorly made cocktail or a can of beer right next to a Suboxone stand, right, where people are overdosing? And they just whoosh with a big needle in their chest, or like those big adrenaline vials. Shouldn't they have those like readily available, like a guy like at a stand? Hey, you need a couple of these? You know, that's nuts, right? That was the thing, right? Like back in the day before the music festivals got big, like Woodstock was the first one that really went okay. You know, like there was Monterey Pop, which was all right. But a lot of the other ones, they were bad. Like, and when I say bad, I mean people were getting injured. It was too many people, and it was a wild period in time, right? That's the thing. Is like the '60s. It was you know pretty crazy. There were a lot of there was the whole counterculture thing. There were a lot of kids who realized that their parents had bullshitted them about life and about what to expect from life and all this stuff. It's honestly, the more that I describe it, it's almost like now, right? It's almost like now. It's young kids rebelling. They've realized that they had been lied to, right? They realized that they had, they were fed a dream that doesn't really, it doesn't. It works for some people, right? It may have worked for the majority. It may have worked for our parents and their friends, but for us, it doesn't work, right? And that's what happens with the older generation. They think that their way of living, their way of projecting what they want to do in this world, or doing what they want to do in this world, they have all done it based on a predetermined set of ideas, right? Very similar to the parents in the 60s, right? The parents in the 60s who grew up in the 40s and 50s, they all had a life's plan for them, right? Different than what we've been told, right? For them, it was like, working in some industry. A lot of it was, factory work or hands-on trades and that type of thing, and everybody had a job and everyone had a good pension, and that was the thing. You barely had to go to school and whatever else, and the kids were like, fuck that, we're taking drugs, we're going wild, which is great, I'm all for that. I'm wearing a Jimi Hendrix shirt right now, but I'm all for mayhem, you know what I'm saying? I'm all for craziness, but that's what it was back in the day. It was kids rebelling the status quo, right? And the status quo have then shifted to being this counterculture, to being these kids who were artistic minded, and they had the ideas of not living a corporate life or not living a predetermined life. This is kind of a topic on the show, and I didn't even mean to go into it this way. I didn't even mean to talk about it at all. I just wanted to talk about the hilarity that ensued at Astroworld. But there are parallels, right? We are living, my generation, the 20-something-year-olds right now, are living in a absolute fucking crazy time, right? It is crazy. Now, some of us, right, are looking at it and are like, oh, this is craziness, right? People are worrying about words, and they're worrying about intricacies of genders, and they're worried about all these, I don't know, things that are pretty crazy, right? Cancel culture is a thing. There's so many people that are worried about what they say. It's literally words. We're literally worried about words, right? It's words. And it's weird because a lot of the art that we consume is brutal, right? A lot of us, we listen to different, you listen to hip hop. It's brutal. Some of it's about taking drugs. Some of it's about fucking women, But see, this is the thing. This is the contrast, right? Because those kids back in the '60s, there was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but they were listening to it, right? They were listening to it and they were living it. We are like, I don't know. We listen to the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but we don't live it, right? Everybody wants to be fit. Everybody's worried about having a vegan menu, right? Everybody's worried about offending people and this and that. Whereas then they were protesting, right? They were protesting legitimate things like there are now, right? There's still legitimate civil rights protests, and I believe that everybody should get more or less treated fairly, right? No, but when I say that, I mean I should say everybody should get recognized, right? Like transgender people shouldn't just be like swept under the rug and forgotten about. As much as some people want to do that, that's, they are people too. But everybody, women, black people, different minorities, gays, everyone should fucking have some kind of an opportunity equivalent to the man next to them, especially if the man's a white man, right? It should be across the board. Now, that is incredibly idealistic, unfortunately, right? We live in a world where there's hate. We live in a world where there's prejudice. People have had the same mindsets for decades and decades, whole families, right? They just pass the shit down, and there's not one of them in their family is smart enough to say, let me think on the other side of this. Try to do something good, That shit doesn't happen, right? Never. And, call me cynical, call me negative, call me whatever, but it's never going to happen. We're not going to be completely equal, right? It's impossible. It is fundamentally impossible to live here and everybody be equal. It's actually fundamentally impossible to live anywhere but like a small commune, right? With like 100 people, where there's no leader, right? There's nobody that collects our trash, right? Because no matter whether you like it or not, the dishwasher in a restaurant, you're going to look right past that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to... that guy doesn't have or that person doesn't have the ability to be equal with the owner of the restaurant, right? It's impossible. They obviously get different perks. They get different tax breaks, but it's different, right? It's different. The owner of a restaurant, the drugs that guy gets is going to be way better than the drugs that the dishwasher gets, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. There's no equality. Who's going to make your 3,200 calorie drink when you're done with work, right? Who's going to make that for you when you go to McDonald's, right? And you need your 3,200 calorie milkshake. Who's making that? Some fucking unequal person. You know what I'm saying? You just got out of your job where you get benefits, you get paid decently, right? You get benefits, you can afford a house, you can afford a car, a decent one, right? You can have luxuries, you can go on a vacation, as long as you ask your boss. But you can, you can survive comfortably, right? You're higher in the hierarchy than this person at McDonald's who's working the drive-thru. That's just what the fuck it is. And if that person wasn't there, you know how upset you would get? You'd be like, God, that's why, like, sometimes I realize now, I was having this conversation with James the other day. Sometimes, if you go to a fast food place, and shit's not fast anymore, right? It's rare you go to a fast food place and shit comes out, and it's odd that that's what we want, right? We want food that immediately comes out and somehow in our mind it's okay to eat. Food that doesn't take not 2 seconds, right? It's already in the bag. Here you go. Boom. Like it happens at the Popeyes near me. If you get the right thing, like if you get a sandwich, it's bang. It's done already, probably, right? Because they already got a bunch made or whatever. It's a weird thing that we think that food is like, and if it takes too long, now we're getting upset. Is this fast food? This isn't fast food. I thought this was fast food. Yeah, because if I worked behind there, I'd be on the ball, right? I'd be running back and forth. Let me make my Whoppers. Oh my God, we have so many people. No, it's a terrible job. It's an awful job. You get abused. You don't get paid well. Even the manager there wants to blow his fucking head off. And that's the highest position you can get at McDonald's other than an owner or if you work in the fucking corporate office, which doesn't exist, right? There's no realistic story of mailroom to CEO. That shit rarely fucking happens. And if it does, nobody fucking knows about it, right? Especially in an actual corporation like McDonald's. Right? One of the biggest businesses in the entire world. There's no way that last week, or actually, there's no way that 20 years ago you were dunking fries, right? And then now you are on the board of directors of McDonald's. No, not true. It'll never happen. Maybe you own one, and that's fucking phenomenal. You own a McDonald's, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of money. You got to have $1 million in assets to even be in consideration to own a McDonald's. So you got to be a well-off motherfucker. So forget even being on the board of directors. How many, drive-through headsets are there that make it from doing that? They live there, they work there long enough. You know how long it would take to save up enough to get $1 million in assets to then be able to open a franchise if you just worked at McDonald's? Nobody would do that. Nobody does that. You know who works there? Teenagers who need a job, right? Teenagers who need a job. Young people who fucking live on their own and they need some kind of money. White miserable moms, right? There's a lot of those. You see a lot of them, right? Moms that are realizing the error in their ways, and their ways being open-legged, right? Realizing that they had kids at a time where they shouldn't have because, they were 17 working at McDonald's and they got fucked and they had a kid. And now they're, 27 working at McDonald's and they're struggling. There's a lot of those people, right? Old people. Very old people, for whatever reason, right? We've talked about the sad old person that has worked their whole life and has no direction now. They kind of wander around in the street and, they don't really know what to do. They drive kind of just, and they look around and they're like, you know what? I come to this McDonald's every day. Maybe they need somebody behind the counter. And they fill out an application, and they get right back to work, right? They get right back, just a few hours a week, 2 days a week, maybe work 3-4 hours a shift, get a free cheeseburger. Not bad. There's no, there's no self-starters. There's no future CEOs. It's very rare that one of them is going to go work at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? And even now, they're paying good money. They're paying good money, and they can't get nobody to fucking work there. Because who the fuck wants to? It's a terrible job. All these jobs are terrible. They're so bad. Working in it's crazy. I went to an open mic, right? I went to an open mic on Thursday. Shout out Democracy Brewery. Go check them out. You can come check me out there on Thursdays. I typically go there. I don't know who would go to an open mic, right? Who as a fucking audience member or fan of comedy would go to an open mic, because that's really just where people go and do, they try out new material, they try new jokes. It's mostly comics in the crowd, right? Everybody's just trying to work new things. And one guy had a joke where he was talking about work, and he's like, the old generation doesn't. They keep saying, we don't want to work, we don't want to work. Well, motherfucker, who wants to work? Nobody wants to work. That's why they got to pay us to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. Like, a lot of these jobs are fucking terrible. If you went to school for something and you realized it wasn't for you, or you, it just didn't work out, whatever the case was, you're fucked. If you don't have the drive to go and the drive and the energy to go and face your passion, or work on your passion, right? And you had this idea, or work on some talent, or work on some artistic skill that you eventually want to monetize at some point in your life. If you don't have that ability, and you went to school for something that you didn't want to do, you're fucked. You are fucked. You have to pick something now. You have to struggle. You have to pick something that you hope will pay you enough and you can stomach, right? And there's not that much out there. There really is not. As a guy who is in that boat of not wanting to work a lot of these jobs, and I went to school, I have a finance degree. And even the jobs that's the thing, is sometimes you can even get a degree and the jobs in your field are fucking terrible, right? Not saying finance job, but, unless you get like a legitimate degree from a school that's, accredited for their finance program, and you have all different kind of this, and you got pull and all this stuff, you're really subject to a few fields, right? Financial analyst, financial advisor, sales. That's it. Good luck becoming a, investment banker, or working with a corporate office, if that's what you want to do. God, I blow my fucking head off. But if that's what you want to do, if it's weird. It's unfortunate. Those are the only fields that you really have. So it's like, if you don't want to do that, the unskilled labor jobs are terrible. There's nothing. There's really nothing, right? Unless you know somebody. You can get a job in the city. You can get a job in a union. You don't really need to be skilled. You learn on the job. You get paid well. You have good benefits. That still exists, right, for some people, right? Some people whose family grew up in the same place and didn't really have any ambition, or, they kind of just lived in an area and stayed there. Like, I come from North Providence, a small town. That's a lot of that, I can get you a job in the city. I can get you a job there. I know a guy. I never took my life into my own hands and tried to go do something on my own and live. No, I never did that. You know what I did? I stayed here. My dad used to work for the city. He got me a job there. I got my son a job. He'll probably get his son a job there. And we make good. We make good. Yeah, that's good. That's great. Now, if you don't come from a family like that, right? If you come from a family who, my dad moved here from another country, my mom moved here from another country, then you have a little less connection, right? You don't have as many connections. So the connections are out the fucking window, right? That's not a thing. But unskilled labor jobs, what are they? You can drive a van, right? Delivery jobs. You can drive a van. You can work in a restaurant. You can work in some kind of hospitality. You can, which is, out of these are arguably the best. If you're in the front of house and you're a server, you're a bartender, which even then, you kind of need to have experience. So you can't really do that. You got to start as a busboy or as a dishwasher or something and grow into a cook or a bartender. You don't really... So even then, it's kind of shitty, right? You can be a busboy, you can be a delivery person, you can, clean, right? There's some factory jobs here and there. You can work retail. Like, all these jobs are bad. All these jobs are so bad. Like, nobody wants to work in a fucking Target, okay? Nobody wants to be 26 years old working at a Target. Nobody wants to be. You know what I think about? I think about being that group on the 40. What is the 40-year-old version? When they're when they all work at Best Buy, right? And they all hang out and make jokes and Best Buy, and you might earn a good living. Sure, they make a little money, right? When they sell the commission and whatever else. But it's who the fuck wants to do any of that? Who wants to do that shit? Who wants to do that shit? I don't. Why are we on this earth? We're walking around for what? You want to know why? To go to Astroworld and get trampled. That's why. That's what we want, right? We want mayhem. All those people that went to Astroworld, they were excited. They're like, we are getting away from our jobs, right? We're going to take so many weeks off or so many days off, and we're going to travel. We're going to go somewhere new or somewhere we've been before but haven't been in a while. And we're going to go have a great time at a big rave and a big party, and it's going to be fucking awesome. We're going to run around. We're going to listen to music, and we're going to get fucked up. Most importantly, we're going to get fucked up. Fucked up. We're going to get fucked up. We're going to have fun. We're going to forget the fact that our lives are based solely on the idea that we either make money or we don't, right? We live in a place where we take everything so seriously, right? Incredibly serious, right? Look at all this, I got to do this, and I'm at fault, right? We're all humans. We all do this shit, no matter how hard we try to relax and ease our mind and realize that this is a life, and we're trying to, no matter how hard we try and do that shit, it creeps in. I'm a loser. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm not working much right now, right? This shit is eating my brain, right? I am trying to do this shit full time and pay my bills, right? Now, there is a such thing as too much free time, which I may have right now. And I can't find the balance because I find myself going back and forth between I need a job, I don't need a job, I need a job, I don't need a job. And it's fucking brutal. It's brutal because of money, right? Money is a sickening fucking thing. It really is. And it's crazy because I have come on here and I have spoken about how money can actually, it helps us. It helps us be free, right? Once you amass a certain amount of it. But until then, whoo, it is stress. It's worrisome. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're trying to work on something that doesn't necessarily pay you. Comedy, podcast. I'm over here trying to be fucking artistic, and we're in a world of boxes, right? You belong in this box, and then once you're out of that box, you go to this box. Like, artistry and creativity in the mind isn't, you literally can't put your thoughts in a box. You can't. Your mind just races. It goes. God forbid you do, mushrooms or drugs or anything like that. You literally can't put what's inside of you in a box. So we as humans are doing things against our nature completely when we're going to these jobs, when we're forcing ourselves to pay these things. But this is our life, right? This is me on here understanding all of that, and trying to find a way to live around it, trying to find a way to exist and then get to a point where, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And it's crazy, right? It is crazy that there's really no way for most of us to not take life seriously, right? This may or may not be controversial, but most of us take life incredibly seriously, too serious, right? I'm probably on this topic because I listened to Bill Hicks things yesterday. Bill Hicks is one of the fucking... I hadn't listened to Bill Hicks in so long. I revisited him. And he is one of the best comedians that ever lived. He has to be. He has to be. Right? And his run got cut short because he got pancreatic cancer. Died at 32 years old of pancreatic. You know how fucking rare that is? You know how crazy that is? It is. It's crazy. But he had such an interesting thing where he talks about life, and he says it's a ride. Life is just a fucking ride, you know, and sometimes we forget it's a ride. You know, this has to be real. Look at my big bank account and my house and all these things. It has to be real. No, motherfucker, it's just a ride. And seeing that shit sometimes is inspiring. Now, I know a lot of people listen to the show, and you know, they're probably like, what the fuck is this moron talking about? This guy is, every week he's got some new thing that he's thinking about, yeah, motherfucker, because I'm a multi-layered human being, and if you're not, then too fucking bad. Too bad. Keep screaming and yelling at the TV when your team doesn't score a fucking touchdown, you empty prick. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Miserable all day on Sunday, and then Monday morning you want to blow your fucking head off because you got to get in your sedan, your luxury sedan, or you know, whatever fucking vehicle you drive, and you got to drop off your kids to the school that you got to pay a shitload of money out of. You got to pay out the ass for. Then you got to go to your job where your boss bitches at you. Or maybe he doesn't bitch at you. Maybe you have a phenomenal office space, but nonetheless, you're stuck there. You can't leave. You can't walk. Maybe you can go, walk around the building on break, you know, like jail, right? Oh, let them out. Yeah. Let them out. Let them go for, they need the exercise for the day. You're in there. You're physically stuck in a box, and you are, mentally in a box as well, right? Whatever the fuck your job is, you got to go to the job site. Right, and you got to work with these bastards all day. And you wanted to leave. You thought the job was over. Too bad. This something went wrong. We got to fix this. You know what I'm saying? And that comes with your job, so you can't be upset about it. You can't worry about it, no matter how bad you wanted to go home and do something or do whatever, and get away from the very thing that is responsible for you living. The very thing that is responsible for you having all the things that you love, your house, your family, your car, your luxuries, your toys, all these things that you love come from a fucking act that none of us want to do, no matter how much we know we have to do it. And that's work. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And if my point bringing all that shit up is that a lot of people don't have they're not on the same wavelength with that shit. Most people are like, you gotta work. If you're not working, you're a fucking bum. You gotta work. This is it. We fucking work till the work is done. That's it. Until I'm fucking dead. My knees, they don't work anymore. You know why? Because I worked. I worked hard, goddammit. I worked my whole fucking life. I worked, and look, it paid off. Look what I got. Look at this great shit. And then, you want to know what happens? You get put in a fucking hole right next to a guy who did nothing his entire life. He did nothing but get high and live on the street, and he didn't fuck with anybody. All he did was fuck off and do what he wanted. And you want to know what? You guys are a few feet apart in a fucking 2 holes right next to each other. Your casket's probably nicer, right? More people came to see you. You probably have a nicer headstone, right? But none of that shit fucking matters. In the end of the day, in the end, the literal end of your days, none of that shit matters. Now, don't get me wrong. We're here for a little while, right? We don't have the longest lifespan, but we do have a decent lifespan, right? Some of us live to 100 years. Some of us live past that. Most of us live to mid-70s, right? And that number's going up, oddly enough. You'd think it'd go down with all the mayhem and the increase in fake food and carcinogens and all that shit. But we don't, right? We have to live. We want to make our time meaningful on the planet to ourselves, to the people who love us, and we want to have a good goddamn time, right? And for some of us, a good time starts with the idea of having a good source of income, a safe source of income, and also given some free time, right? In the form of asking another man if you have, if boss, can I know it's busy, but, boss, I really, oh no, okay. Not saying that's everybody's situation, but in my mind, that's what the fuck I think of. You know what I'm saying? That and that's what it is for most people. Most people are okay with that. Wow, I get 2.5 weeks off a year plus sick days. I get paid for them. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Wow. I don't have to pay for my own insurance. They invest for me. I don't need to do a goddamn thing. I'll sit back. I won't take a chance. Why take a chance? Why take a chance? Why go out and see what you're actually made of? Why do that? You know what I'll do instead? I will work this job. Maybe I'll get the experience. I'll move up. I'll go to a new job. I'll get a new industry. Maybe I'll get a nice office, right? Maybe I get a little more authority. I get a nice pay raise. I get more time off, right? I still have a boss, but I have a better relationship with my boss. I'm not like a peon anymore. I'm like his right-hand man or her right-hand man, right? I get a nice little pay raise, put a little more money in that 401k, right? And I will go to Astroworld. I will go to Astroworld where people can run around and kill and fuck and be high and be on drugs and drunk, and we can shake and move and meet people, and we can listen to artists, to people who believed that they had something that the world wanted to hear, and they were right. They proved themselves right and everybody else wrong. And we're going to live vicariously through these experiences, right? Some experiences that can, help us cope, right? Help us feel like we are, like we're freer than we are. You ever go to one of those events and you're done and you come back and you kind of get into a slump? It's like the high is over. Or you're like, wow, and you're still buzzing for a few days, because for just a moment there, you felt like nothing could touch you. It's just like when you're on vacation. You're spending money. You're having a good time. You're not thinking about the fact that you're so much in debt. You're not thinking about the fact that you really don't make that much money. You're on vacation. You saved. You're having a good time. You're having a great time on this life. There's no worries. You're eating what you want. You're seeing sights. You're driving, you're running, you're walking, you're dancing, you're singing, you're doing such phenomenal things. And then just when you think you can't get any better, choom, the big steel door closes. The big steel door closes like we're in Monsters Inc. And one of those doors on the other side is happy, right? Happy freedom. You can go do whatever you want, whenever you want. Wow. Oh, look at that. Boom. Shut that shit. Work. 7 a.m., bitch. Alarm. Bing, bing, bing. 5 o'clock. Wake up. Wake up. I hope you weren't fucking sleeping well. Wake the fuck up. Put on that uncomfortable outfit and get the fuck in your car and drive and get in your fucking seat. Get in your position and work. Do it. Do it. And again, what I want isn't super realistic for most people, right? But I'm willing to motherfucking try. And a lot of people are going to get upset about all that shit that I just said. But I'm willing to try, right? And if it doesn't work out, then so be it. I'll go and work in an office. I'll try this finance thing again. Maybe I'll go back to school. I'll get a different degree. Who knows? But if I don't at least try, and if you who wants to try doesn't try, then everything else is going to be just a snowball effect of shit on your life. And you're going to think back to when you used to want to try something else. Try something that could put you in a place of that freedom, whether it's working for yourself or getting a remote job or working on an artistic skill or a talent or something that you always wanted to excel in and maybe one day monetize. You'll always think back to that time that you had when you were in your 20s or even in your 30s and you didn't do it. Instead, you went to work, you took a week off, and you went to Astroworld, and you were fucking trampled and killed in the place where you thought you could have let your inhibitions go free. And you were wrong. Thank you so much for listening, guys. That's it. I'm done talking to you. This was a fun conversation with you all, and I hope it resonates. I hope you guys turn your volumes up, right, and make sure everybody hears it. Everybody in the world bouncing and bopping to me saying shit. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show, supporting the show. We have a great guest on Thursday, so make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be via Zoom. Phenomenal guest, very interesting man. I'm not going to say much else about him. I'm just going to allude to him and make it very weird. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm done. Peace.